It doesn't matter what path you're on, life can be hard at times. It can wear you down and make you want to give up. And pursuing our simple homesteading lifestyle is really not immune to these feelings. So in today's video, we wanted to share with you some tips that have helped us stay on course and be able to continue to pursue our dreams. So let's get started. So our first tip is to promote and preserve the family unit. You know, it's important to put in safeguards, you know, that you feel appropriate, you know, for your family to, you know, to be able to have time with each other, you know, dinner time and prayer time and just, you know, just time spent with each other. That's an important part of any journey.
It's easy, just as easy for us to get caught up in how busy we are, and before we know it, like several days have gone by and we haven't had as much intentional time as we like. So that's why we want to like write these things down and talk to them about, talk to our kids about them, and then also like regroup when it's so easy to struggle with that.
You know, and it's also important that everybody in the family is on the same page. And that doesn't necessarily mean that we have to be, you know, perfectly in line where we're all doing the exact same thing, because, you know, we want for ourselves, but also for our kids to have their own individual personalities and hobbies and traits and characteristics, you know, and so we try to create an atmosphere that, you know, promotes that as well. You know, but as the parents of the family, we kind of will steer our family, you know, in this agrarian lifestyle. And again, if our kids, if they want to pursue a career in whatever it is that's not this, you know, that's perfectly fine. You know, they're going to grow up and be adults and have to make their own decisions one day, and we'll fully support them in that. But for now, like, this is what we feel is a better lifestyle, and just a way of life that's what we want to, you know, teach our kids to live. And then again, when they get older, they'll make that decision on whether they want to continue it or not for themselves and their families.
I think with a lot of activities, it's really easy to...
Hang on, buddy. Hold that thought.
I feel like it's so easy with a lot of activities to have evenings where one parent has to be in one direction and another parent in another direction, and then you've got one kid driving here, and sometimes some of those things are unavoidable, but we try to really prioritize with our kids of like what is the priority of what you're interested in right now, and try to limit that to one thing at a time per kid. And also there's a lot of with our homeschool groups that they can actually do together. Like the boys will do, all three of them do a homeschool karate class together. And so it's really helpful to have them all going to the same thing when we can. And then also try to allocate the priorities for one thing at a time with each one.
So our second tip is going to be to balance your dreams with reality. You know, and for me, like, this is probably one of the hardest things that I've had to kind of come to accept, because I've always been a dreamer and a visionary. And, you know, and the older I get, the more expensive my dreams get. And the reality is that we just can't afford to do some of those. You know, and so that's something that's just been a struggle for me. I was watching this interview and this lady said something that just really stood out to me. And again, it was a show where they were just interviewing like 5 first-generation farmers. And she said that she realized it wasn't fair for her to compare herself with like a 5th-generation farmer. You know, someone that's inherited land and equipment and tools and resources and wisdom and knowledge. You know, all those things got passed down through the generations, you know, and so it set up those 5th-generation farmers, you know, for quicker success. You know, whereas people like us, we're just trying to figure it out the best we can. And so that was just something that really helped me out in this area. You know, it's easy for me to like look around at other farmers and see like what they have, and not necessarily like a fancy truck or a brand new tractor, but just really like the land, you know, or the outbuildings and the barns and things like that. You know, it's easy for me, if I'm not practicing balancing my dreams with reality, it's easy for me to become envious. But if I can learn to practice this habit, then ultimately it'll make me less envious, but it'll also do something better for me, which is to help me to have a greater appreciation for what I do have. But also, you want to be open to new opportunities. So tip number 3 would be, don't have tunnel vision. You know, every journey that we're on, I feel like it's meant to have some excitement to it. And if you just, you know, put on your blinders and you just see what's ahead, you know, you miss so many opportunities that come along. You know, and a prime example of that would have been our Airbnb business. You know, when we bought this farm 6 years ago, you know, we knew very little about Airbnb, but my sister-in-law decided that, or recommended that we, you know, give it a try, you know, and so we did. And it has been such an amazing experience for our family. I mean, we've had people from all over the United States come here, but then we've had guests from probably more than 20 different countries that have come and stayed here. And so it's been just an amazing experience getting to hang out with all these people from around the world. And, you know, we get to learn about their culture and they like to learn about ours, you know. And so, but if we, you know, if we had tunnel vision, you know, we would have missed that opportunity. And that's really grown into like the largest part of our farm business is our Airbnbs. You know, and just that alone has opened up so many other doors, bringing so many people here to our farm. That's helped us out as well. So, so again, that would be my third tip, would be to not have tunnel vision. So our fourth piece of advice is going to be to just take time to rest.
What I notice about myself, and I think all of us, is that it's so easy to just think, it's really hard to sit here because there's so much to do every day. But I notice that the things that I really need to do, I actually accomplish quicker and better and more efficiently when we take time to pause and gather our thoughts and just to really have fun together. A lot of times I'm not very joyful if I don't take time to play with each kid or to us just do something like have a campfire. Even if it's like 15 minutes. Like a huge difference I noticed, like in my relationship with the kids and my relationship with Steve, and even just for myself and my personal relationship with God, and as I grow to just to trust that time is really well spent. So
yeah, it's probably the hardest thing for me too, because like to find rest here. So sometimes I need to like get away from here, because while I love being here and in general I'm a homebody, like I love projects, and you know, and when you live on a place like this, you look around and you just see project after project lined up, you know. And so, and while I do enjoy the projects, there's times that I need to take a rest from those projects. And so for me, sometimes I just need to actually go somewhere to a quiet place, you know, of my own to get away.
Me too, because it's easy to just like, I want to like encourage you that yes, that is important, and I definitely need that too sometimes. Like I definitely need to go somewhere else or get out and do something else that's like restful. Like sometimes it's going on a hike. Like a month or two ago, we went with my mom to a river and went on a short little hike, and we try to do something like that at least once a month. Just that encourage you that I think a lot of times we feel like that rest time is going to take away from what we have to get done, but just that I think it was Martin Luther King Jr. that said, the busier the day, the more time he spent in quiet prayer in the mornings, because he just knew that he needed that time before to be able to handle and to enjoy and do the day well. And I think it gives us better efficiency and also focus when we do that.
So my fifth tip to prevent homestead burnout would be to build community. You know, and this is such an important part that, you know, we need to be very intentional about in our lives. I mean, having, you know, good neighbors and friends and family close by to be able to help us out, and for us to be able to help them out, you know, it's such a blessing to be a part of, you know. And, you know, in this day and age, you know, with social media and everything, you know, it wants to build more of a communal world, which, you know, on the surface, that's a beautiful thing. But it's more important to start with having a world of communities, you know, where we are reaching out to our neighbors and friends and just being able to help each other out. And then hopefully, you know, that help is reciprocated when we need help. And so it's such a blessing and such an important part of anyone's life, I think, to be able to have that close community, to be able to rely and lean on people. So again, that would be my 5th piece of advice, if Peanut doesn't kick me in my knee, would be to just be intentional about building communities. So for tip number 6, it's going to be let everything that you do have a deeper meaning. You know, and it doesn't matter what you're pursuing. If you're only pursuing it for money or fame or fortune, you know, it's always going to leave you feeling empty. It doesn't matter what milestone you achieve. As soon as you get to this level or the next level, all you're going to want to do is get to the next level. And once you achieve that, it's the next level, and it never ends. So for us, we start off our day in prayer. We, you know, do our best. We have, you know, good days and bad days like anybody, but we try to focus our day around God, and you know, and we look for opportunities to serve Him. And you know, and it's always amazing the opportunities that present itself. Is kind of going back to the tip about not having tunnel vision. Just having your eyes open to, you know, who He's going to put in front of us that day, and, you know, the conversations we can have, or the ways that we can help them, or maybe it's the ways they can help us. You know, it's just neat how, you know, things work together and stuff.
I think for me, it's really easy, especially like with the homeschool part of it. It's easy to get on the checkbox of like, yes, we did math. Yes, we did even like household chores and stuff like that. But if we focus just on that, when I focus just on that, I don't feel like I have any joy. I feel like I'm also, it's never enough kind of feeling. But when I step back, and it's so easy to think about every task you complete as a child of slowing you down, or making every task not as quote unquote perfect as you want it to be. But when I stop and I let that go, and I try to just make, again, this is not perfect, and I definitely fail at this a lot of times each day, but when I actually let them help and teach them with what I'm doing, and let them mess up and become intentional, if we are really doing what we're doing to glorify God and to love each other and to love Him, and then all of that falls into place, and it feels like everything does have meaning. It has meaning when you're just doing the activities of daily living that are chores and play, and some of those things they're not as begrudgingly when you actually have joy with your kids, when you're letting them help you with daily tasks, and I think those things aren't meant to be so negative. And again, I let myself do that too, but if we do live with that intentionality and with a purpose with all things we do, then it becomes to all work together and have meaning, and we're learning all day long. And the things that we're trying to cover in a book, and some of that needs to be in a book for sure, but also in all that we do throughout the day.
Yeah, so really almost like a better thing for this tip might be, instead of making everything have a deeper meaning, maybe the tip should be to practice serving something greater than yourself. So for my last piece of advice, for tip number 7, it would be to spend time reflecting on your journey. You know, again, it doesn't matter what you're doing in life. You know, we're all busy, we're all working as hard as we can, you know, and the frustrations can mount up pretty easy. You know, and sometimes, you know, we don't realize the growth that we've made and the progress that we've made unless we actually stop to think about it. You know, I think about for us, you know, when me and Susie got married, you know, we had a little 2-bedroom, 1-bath home on 3/4 of an acre. You know, and that's what we started in. You know, and then our next house, we had 3 acres, you know, and then we were able to buy a couple acres next to it. So we ended up with 5, and then we outgrew that pretty quick. And now where we live, we currently have 15 acres. You know, and again, I dream about having more land, and you know, I would love to have 1,000 acres, which goes back to tip number 2 of balancing your dreams with reality. You know, and so I don't know what the future holds for us, but we're just gonna take it one day at a time and enjoy life, enjoy, you know, everything that we have, and you know, we'll see where that takes us. But in the meantime, we're just gonna enjoy this journey that we're on, and we hope you can too. We pray this video brought you peace and inspiration to help you chase your dreams. Hope to see you next time.